Hello, Kendra here, aka Nerdy Millennial, with another video. And yeah, it's about DreamCon. And yeah, I can talk about DreamCon as much as I want to if anyone gets offended what I'm about to say. On our other channel that I share with my sister, Two Nerdy Sisters, we did a live stream talking about it, as well as posted some TT compilation videos. But I had Googled because I'm seeing all this different things about DreamCon coming out, so I'm like, I have to talk about it. Some people, like I said, may be offended, but hey, it is what it is. If you don't like what I'm saying, go to somebody else's channel. But okay, I Googled DreamCon because a lot of people were attacking my friend on TT. She shared her thoughts about how she felt with the cabaret that they had and a lot of the cosplays that a lot of, not all, but a lot of young women were wearing. It was too much. And someone in the comments was telling her, this is not no family oriented event anyways. This is for 18 and up. So why do you care? Just pretty much saying that she's being approved, judgmental, yada yada. Well, I Googled DreamCon, and you guys can Google it yourself. I asked Google, is DreamCon a family event? And it says, yes, DreamCon is marketed and operated as a family friendly event with official policies that require appropriate cosplay and adult supervision for children. While the convention is geared toward all ages, including teenagers and kids, attendees have noted that it leans heavily into internet culture, gaming tournaments, and specific fan focused content rather than traditional child only programming. And they said costume policy, all cosplays must be family friendly, cover the body appropriately, and not be overly revealing or contain loose glitter. Age requirements. Children between 5 and 17 can participate in certain events, but children must remain under direct adult supervision at all times. Okay. And then also, lastly, it said programming features family friendly events like scaled up game shows and a film fest, but also late night panels and events that may lean toward older, young adult demographic. All right. Now, they're talking about the costume policy. During the day, I seen a lot of videos and things like that with a lot of young women that had the cheeks out, the tatas out, hoo-ha's pretty much almost out, and some of them were doing some things in those cosplays that were extremely inappropriate. And this is supposed to be a family-friendly event. Children do not need to see that. I saw a young woman with the katana cosplay and her cheeks are out. She had on fishnet stockings and she does a cartwheel and does a split with her cheeks facing, whoever was filming her. Now, what if a child was with their family and saw that? It's too much. How is that a family event? And then on top of that, saying that the costumes do not need to be super revealing. That's a requirement. A lot of young ladies were wearing things that were extremely revealing. So I'm like, what are they talking about? The rules obviously are not being enforced. And, you know, some people come with that argument, well, that's what the characters wear. Okay, some anime characters, yes, wear things are revealing. However, as we want to say black people, and this is not coming, I know sometimes the way my voice is when I'm passionate about things, I can come sound like I'm being judgmental, but I'm not. This is coming from love, a place from love, because I love my people and that's why I'm speaking about it. But there are as creative as black people are, and especially in the cosplay spaces, I've seen some amazing cosplays that my people have done and made it their own. If you choose to wear a smexy cosplay, you can modify it to where it is appropriate. You can. And if you choose to make a cosplay that a character that normally doesn't wear a smexy cosplay, but you want to make it smexy, okay, whatever. But again, like I said, you can make it modified to where it's classy, not trashy. And you can. And, I'm just like, I hate that argument that some people want to say that. because I'm like, yes, and these characters are not real. On top of that, actual person, yes, you may be in cosplay, but to sit there and almost have your hoo-ha out and cheeks out and tatas out, it's too much. You can modify it to where it is appropriate. You can. And it's just some of the young ladies, I'm like, y'all doing it for attention. Y'all are. And then you're getting mad, when people are saying things, but it's like this, it's not, you can't be like Burger King and have it your way. You wanting to wear that, but then you're expecting people to treat you as a lady, and I'm not saying that you should be disrespected. Nobody should, but I'm saying no, this is the society that we live in. And cosplay, no cosplay. If you're wearing something and you're not in cosplay and you're wearing something super revealing, that's the attention that, is going to attract, unfortunately. And I'm not saying that they're bimbos and 304s, but unfortunately, when people see that, the girls wearing that, and then on top of that, they're doing those splits. I saw one girl I don't know if it was the same girl cosplaying Katana from Mortal Kombat. She takes her legs and puts them behind her head. People see that, they're going to be like, ooh, she could do some strange for a piece of change. That's what they're gonna be thinking. They're not gonna be thinking, that you're a classy young woman. They're not. They're gonna be having all lustful thoughts. And it is what it is. Um, and I'm not saying that these women deserve to be disrespected. No, but that comes with the territory. You choose to wear that, and then, like I said, on top of that, doing those risque poses, doing some of the things that they're doing, twerking and all that stuff. The characters don't even be doing that. So, and then some people was trying to attack my friend, talking about some all conventions are like that. You probably have you ever been to a con? For myself personally and my friend, we've been doing this for a long time. My sister and I are not new to this. Been anime fans since the 90s. Yes, I'm a millennial. Y'all can say, oh, you're probably an old auntie and jealous. No, I'm not jealous, sweetheart. This is coming from a place of love. I'm not jealous. And yeah, my big old age 36, I thank you God for me reaching 36. Yeah, you can call me an old auntie. I'm concerned. But like back in the day, we've been going to cons since 2007. I assure you, before cosplay, anime, nerd culture fandom got mainstream, it was not like what you're seeing. They want to say all conventions are like that. No, they're not. Back when I started going, they were not like that. I noticed that, like, yes, there were some girls that wore some risque cosplays. They were. However, they carried themselves with class. And a lot of times, excuse me, a lot of times they would have like a long coat on. And if someone came to ask for a picture, they took the coat off and they took their poses. They weren't doing anything risque, twerking, shaking their boob. They wasn't doing none of that. They took the picture and they kept it moving. They carried themselves with class. And also, like I said, with those freaky events and things at Cabaret, I saw the pictures. Oh my goodness. I'm like, is this a convention or is this Magic City? But we didn't have that. And yes, they had panels 18 and up that, for people that's into, the hentai and ichi. I don't attend those, but people that I know that attended those, they said, they just talked about the shows and stuff like that. It wasn't nothing crazy with people coming out there with their boobs out, actual people with covering up their nipples and having a short skirt where you can see their cheeks and they're, shaking their cheeks to the audience. It wasn't none of that. I noticed a shift in this cosplay community, and some conventions, like I still go to conventions. We went to one this year, GalaxyCon. They had some adult things there, like Smex toys and things like that. And I'm just like, what does this have to do with anime and cosplay and things like that? Not a darn thing. But I will say, in their defense, they had it, roped off and things like that. And they had like a black curtain over it. And it had like a humongous sign that said 18 and up. But I noticed, but seeing the footage at DreamCon versus GalaxyCon, We didn't have women. That's another thing. It was women I was seeing on TikTok, excuse me, TT videos. One woman, they had a humongous behind sitting there wrestling a man, and then she puts her butt in his face, like bouncing it on his face. You like the conventions I go to, you don't see that. Like you don't. Now, maybe at people's hotel rooms and things like that outside of the con, maybe that's going on. I don't know. That's their business. They want to get freaky. But at the convention, doing stuff like that during the daytime while there's children there walking around, no. I have never seen that. But oh my God, I almost had lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, I've never seen that. But what I was saying was I noticed a shift with a lot of this freaky deaky stuff coming into cons and just all this types of foolishness. Honestly, I would say about 5 or 6 years ago. That's when I noticed a shift, especially on online as well, like it's flooded. That's when I noticed a shift because before cosplay and anime and things like that was mainstream, like I said, you didn't have all this. And that's why I'm speaking out about it. As I'll say, yeah, I consider myself an OG in the nerd spaces. I'm just, this is from concern, and hopefully people, you may be mad with what I'm saying, but really listen. But if you can't see how destructive that behavior is, something is wrong with you. Because I just speak because I am concerned, because a lot of people online, and it's all over different platforms, are calling it Cream Con, Freaknik Con, Freak Con, uh, I don't know what other names they're giving it, but people are in their minds are already like, yeah, this is the convention where you want to go to hook up and be freaky deaky. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with anime, gaming, and cosplay. Isn't that supposed to be what the convention is supposed to be about? Like cosplay, gaming, anime, and all that stuff, and sports. Because I'm understanding people are saying corn stars were there, OF models, and things like that. And like I said, that thing with the cabaret, I'm just like, that was just too much. You have all that flooded. People said the after parties are like that. I saw on Reddit people saying some freaky things going on. And you have people that have in their mind, okay, this is what this convention is about, is to hook up and things. I saw people in the comments talking about, oh, I only attend for the women. I'm like, now suppose somebody goes to that con and they're not there for that. They literally like anime, gaming, comics, whatever. And someone, like I said, because the footage that I've seen and just a lot of girls on social media that do cosplay, and some of the men posting like some really, really like lewd stuff. These people that are constantly consuming that's all they got in their head is lust. Okay. And then they go to that to convention or maybe another con. But I'm just saying DreamCon because everyone is talking about is FreakCon now, is CreamCon. So they go there and they see, a lady there, and they may try to SA her, because they're so full of lust. And they're like, yeah, this is where you go to hook up. People are, saying that, yeah, this is the con where you go to hook up. And they thought it was okay. I saw another video with this man. He asked a girl, who's a streamer, I believe. I never heard of her, but people were saying she was a streamer. He asked for her picture, and she's like, hello. And he asked for a picture, and she's like, sure, okay. And without her consent, he picks her up. Luckily, she had someone there to intervene and stop him. But let's just say this was outside of the con, and she didn't have nobody around. Who's to say what else he would have tried to do? And I'm just saying, they're constantly, from what I'm seeing, people wanting to promote, yeah, this is the freak con, la da la da da, constantly showing that gyrating booties, tatas, and things like that. But then, some people is like, well, cosplay is not consent, which it's not. But you have some people that can't grasp that. They're constantly seeing that, and then they're seeing women, gyrating their behinds on men's faces, So they may think it's okay to just go up to a girl and grope her or pick her up without her consent, you know? So it's just like, it's too much. And then I saw that same man that did that. Luckily, it didn't happen, but a fight could have almost escalated. He went to a man, I guess that was a streamer, and I don't know if he was trolling the streamer or whatever, but the streamer like touched his bald head because he had a bald head, and then he got upset. Luckily, nothing broke out, but I'm just saying, a fight could have happened. So it's just like we got to do better, and that's why I'm speaking out of it. Black people, I love y'all. I love my people, but we got to do better. Um, you can still have fun and nerd out, but that's off. I'm sorry. And, people really have to think about that. Like, I know it's a lot of young people that go there, but, some of them may be employed, some of them may not be, and they're looking, but trying to go viral. A lot of the men there, I noticed with clout, that seems to be another thing that's big there at that convention. People are obsessed with clout, especially the men. You're filming all this footage and posting, and an employer or possible employer sees that, and you get laid off, fired, or you don't get the job because what they see. You have to think about that. you know yes, you can have fun, but you could do clean, wholesome fun. And I'm not saying being approved, but that is off, guys. I'm sorry, people. It has nothing to do with nerd culture. If you want to do that freaky deaky stuff, you need to go to a corn convention. I understand they have adult entertainment conventions. That's where it needs to be at. Or if they wanted to have it at DreamCon, that needs to be in an entirely separate building. And for the people that want to wear those risque costumes, they need to be over there because there's children walking around in there. And yes, I know that cabaret and whatever freaky other stuff they had going on is for 18 and up, and I'm sure they were looking at people's IDs. But however, during the daytime, I saw footage of things that the ladies were wearing and stuff like that. It's off, and children do not need to be seeing that. It's just like, what the heck is going on? I saw one girl that was cosplaying Dora the Explorer. To my understanding, Dora is what, 5 years old? And she had her shirt way, way rolled up and had on some booty shorts with her cheeks out. It's weird. And it's just everything has gotten so perverted, not even like, yes, with conventions, I like I said, the last convention I went to with the Smex toys, I'm just like, what the heck? It didn't compete to what I've seen at DreamCon, but yes, everything has gotten perverted, like commercials, the music videos real bad, the songs, just it's too much. And like I said, you really have to guard your heart and what you're feeding your spirit. I'm a believer in Christ, and you really have to guard what you feed your spirit, because if you're constantly consuming all that type of perversion, you're going to be filled with lust. And that's another thing. They want to keep promoting, yeah, cream con, yeah, get your freak on, da 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 da. In Houston, on top of that, which, if anyone does not remember the Houston spring break, how many people that were infected with the HIV and herpes and all other types of STDs. Y'all want to sit there and promote that, but y'all also need to promote, safe smecks and all this other stuff. The HIV is nothing to joke about. A lot of people, young people, are getting diagnosed with it every day. And it just seems like a lot of young people, they have no fear. They don't care. Oh, well, I'm on PrEP. I'll just get PrEP. PrEP does not cure you. Somebody in the comments, it was a video I saw about the HIV, and someone says, "Oh, it's okay, just get PrEP, you'll be cured." No, you still have the virus. It just makes you undetectable, very low traces of the virus, so you don't transmit it to other people. And sometimes that medication doesn't always agree with people. That's a lifelong medication that you have to be on, because if you don't get it, you will be unalive. And that's something that people don't seem to understand. And suppose you get laid off of a job, whatever the case may be, and you don't have health insurance to get that medicine. Because without it, that medicine is expensive. It is expensive. Okay, that's something serious. So, my thing with DreamCon, y'all want to promote that freakism? Y'all need to be having nurses there, classes teaching people about safe smex and how to prevent these things because it's real out here. People are not thinking about that, and I'm 100% certain that some people probably walked away with some STIs, from their convention, hooked up with some random person that they don't know. And yes, I'm a believer. I'm not people. The Lord gives you free will to do whatever you want to do. I'm not trying to force my beliefs on anyone. But in the Bible, it says to flee from lust and to not fornicate, adultery, being adultery, all that. The Lord says that for a reason. It's not to be cruel. It's not to be mean, to be a prude. He's doing that to protect us because when you're engaging in that type of activity, what I've seen at the con, they want to promote that freaky deaky stuff. That's what happens. And being doing all that type of stuff like that leads to destructive lifestyle and it leads to death, unalivement. So that's why, the Lord tells us to not do all those things is to protect us. But yeah, I was just disgusted. And I love RDC World. I've been a fan of theirs for a long time. But that convention, that stuff that they're having there, I'm just like, that ain't the way, man. I wish I could talk to them in private. That ain't the way, and I don't know who's telling them what types of acts and things they should have there, but that's off. I'm sorry. And I saw another post with someone talking about maybe we should gatekeep because I've done some videos about it and I don't think it's nice. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's nice to be mean to people that want to get into nerdy things, whatever type of fandom. You should be welcoming. However, if they're coming into it for the wrong reasons, then yeah, let's maybe we should get back to gatekeeping because that's another thing. They have a lot of streamers there, and I saw a video with the girl talking about anime. It's weird. I'm just here to stream, and it's like it's this whole clout thing, this obsession with clout. And I noticed that's another shift with the nerd spaces, around like the COVID era. I know a lot of people got into cosplay and anime and things like that, and a lot of them got into it, out of boredom maybe, and then some trying to grow a platform. And with a lot of celebrities during that time coming out, just sharing their love for nerdy things, anime and cosplay specifically, that's when I noticed a lot of people coming into the community. And not all of them had good intentions. A lot of them were, not all, but a lot of them were doing it for clout, wanting to grow a platform and behind closed doors and even in front of people, insulting people that are really truly into anime and cosplay and gaming and things like that, making fun of them. And it's just like, it's too much. So it's like, yeah, I kind of am like, yeah, sometimes you do gotta enforce gatekeeping. Yeah, a lot of streamers there, from my understanding, bullying, saying things about cosplayers and laughing at them and things like that. And it's just like, why are you here? But then, like I said, it's a clout thing. The convention, DreamCon, is very mainstream, so they're there for clout to grow their following and yada yada yada. And it's just like, my goodness. So I can understand some people while they're upset because, yeah, not all, but you have a lot of men and women online in those nerd spaces and at DreamCon that don't really watch anime like that. Of course, they're going to cosplay the stuff that's mainstream, popular now. Of course, Demon Slayer, you'll probably see that mainly flooded, Jujutsu Kaisen, all the popular stuff. And take pictures, videos, and all this other stuff to post on their social media to grow a following. I get it, the annoyance with that. I really do. Because it's like we did, especially being a black anime fan, we caught hell. I've been a fan since the 90s and early Y, and of course still now, but the 90s and early Y2K, like in school, we caught hell for like anime and cosplay and things like that. So I get it. I really, really get it. And I just want to say too, also, sorry if I'm losing train of thought, but we have to do better. And I know some people were saying to videos, why is it that when it's black ran organizations, black people want to other black people want to be raccoons and attack and say, no, I'm coming from a place of love. This is not being a raccoon. And I noticed too with this community, specifically the Blerd, we want to post a whole bunch of videos when it's non-black folks being Ray saying things to black cosplayers. And then we want to do videos and call them out, just like the white tea cosplayer that was I had posted a video screenshots of what she said about the DreamCon attendees. You know, our people, not all, but want to be in an uproar for that. But when we talk about the negative things that's going on in blurred spaces, the debauchery and all that and the foolishness, a lot of times black people that are speaking out on it are getting attacked and hate for it. And like I said, if we don't speak out about the issues, things are not going to get better. It's not. And a lot of times too, just people, especially with the cosplays, with the women, like I said, I've seen some men that do some cosplays. I'm just like, that's too much. But it's more so women, and they want to say, especially me being a female, they want to say, "Oh, you're jealous, you're a hater." No, I'm promise you, I'm not hating. This is coming from a place of love. I don't want to see no one get hurt or or S8 or whatever. But like I said, they keep promoting this con, people calling it cream con, just all this over smack stuff. I hate to say it, but it's going to happen. And then you have, the women dressed like that and gyrating and all that. It's going to happen if they don't stop that mess. I'm like this. They need to have all that at another convention geared towards, sexual things. That's just how I feel. And I just want to say also, they have a lot of young, to my understanding, it was a lot of children there, tweens and things like that. Kids are impressionable. I noticed that a lot of the women there, like cosplayers and stuff like that, that they want to highlight, or who gets the big followings and things like that on social media, are the ones that have the OFs and do those types of cosplays. And women, young girls that want to get into cosplay, and like I said, and that are impressionable, young people are impressionable. They're going to think that they have to do those things, do those types of cosplays, and be twerking and all this other stuff to grow a following and to be liked and all this other stuff. No, you don't have to do that. I just want to tell my sisters that you are beautiful. You don't have to be doing all those types of cosplays and gyrating and all that stuff to get attention. You are beautiful. You can wear a cosplay where you're not doing that. If you want to be a little smexy, because like to me, like Roger Rabbit's wife, Jessica Rabbit, that's a smexy cosplay, and to me it's still classy. You could do things like that, like Faye Valentine. For me, like to modify it, make the shorts a little longer where your cheeks aren't out. Have the shirt a little bit higher where your cleavage is not out. You could do it with capri pants. Do some nice flared pants with it. It's so many looks that you could create. If you want to do a skirt, you could do a skirt that's, a little bit above the knee. There's so many ways that you can modify it to where you're smexy but you're classy and things like that, because that's another thing. Like I said, going back with the whole clout thing, a lot of the guys, they're not all, but they're using those young women for clout to grow their following. They're showcasing them in those risque cosplays and having them twerking and having their butts to the camera, and it's on their page and they're so they can get views. I'm like this, for them girls, y'all wanting to do that stuff, that's y'all's life if y'all want to do that, but y'all should be charging them. They're using y'all's image so they can grow a following. It's exploitive. It is. And I just feel too with that con, like I said, not all, but a lot of them streamers that's not even really into nerdy things. It's exploitive too. You're exploiting, the community, for the people that really are into anime and cosplay and gaming. You're streaming and then laughing at them and saying things like anime is weird and all this other stuff, but you can grow your stream and all this other stuff. It's exploitive, and that's what I feel like the nerd spaces now have turned into since it's gone mainstream. So in a way, I can see when someone had said, it was on, I think on FB, they were just like, I kind of wish anime and things like that was still niche and not mainstream. And I feel them on that. I really do. But I had posted, I may share those videos. I share they're on my sister and I's channel, but if y'all haven't seen the footage, y'all can see it on all types of platforms. It was wild. And for everyone to keep calling it that, like I said, cream con, yeah, that's what it seems like. Cause I'm like, is this a place for nerds? And it's a little annoying to me because I saw a video too with a older lady talking about it. She said it popped up on her feed. So I guess she's not really into anime cosplays, but it popped up on her feed somehow, TT. But she just saying, y'all anime friends, y'all anime fans are freaky deaky and da 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 da. And I said that's what's kind of why I'm a little annoyed too, because it's so mainstream and, you know, a lot of black people are into anime and things like that. But I noticed, especially with black women, that cosplay and things like that, that's the types of cosplays that they want to showcase. When you look it up, you see on social media, the algorithm wants to push the ones wearing the most revealing cosplays, the ones sitting there twerking, shaking boobs, the camera, all that stuff. They want to show that. And when you tell other people that you're into cosplay, especially like maybe like another, because it actually happened to me and my sister, my mother a couple of years ago, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, she was talking to her cousin and she just asked what types of hobbies do we like, and my mom's like, oh yeah, they love anime, they're into cosplay, they go to conventions. And her cousin's like, wait a minute, do they do those types of those lewd cosplays? She immediately thought that that's what we do, and that's why I said they keep showcasing this stuff. And as a black woman, like I said, they want to keep pushing, showing the black women that do that stuff in those cosplays. Everyone immediately that's not really into cosplay but know about it, they're immediately going to be thinking that you do that type of stuff, cosplay and do, gyrating and all that stuff. So it's just like, the people want to lump us as a whole, and that's not the case. That's why I get annoyed sometimes because, as black women, we have to get it together, black people as a whole. But the media wants to push the most negative things on us on purpose. And people that never been around a black person before, that's the first thing that comes to mind, especially for black women that we twerk. We're over sexual, we're over sexual and things like that because that's what the media keeps pushing. And it's like, let's not uh create that stereotype to make it like it's true, like that it's true, because it's not all of us do that. We're more than our bodies. Come on, ladies, we are more than that. And just like the stereotype with black men, they want to, that they're overly aggressive, things like that. Let's not fit that stereotype and make it seem like it's real, because it's not all black men are like that. They're not. So it's like we got to do better, guys. We do. And I know people probably will be upset that hear this live, but I really don't care. It's the truth. It is so true. We got to do better. We have to. It's nothing wrong with having fun, but you can do it and wholesome and have fun. And like I said, another video that I did with my sister, if you want to bring things at a convention like DreamCon, they want to bring things at a convention that's not really considered nerdy. Bring job fairs there. There's a lot of people that need jobs. And they have a lot of young people there as well. Bring things to help them with a trade and learn a new skill, bring people to help them like with interviews, how to do the interviews, to work on their interview skills and things like that. Businesses, people that are aspiring entrepreneurs, bring people to teach them how to run a business. Like anyone that like wants to, I'm sure maybe they do have, but like I know a lot of people want to get into like 3D printing that are into cosplay. Maybe have something like that, teaching people how to 3D print. It's so many positive panels that can help people that they could bring there. But that cabaret, chair dancing, after wild after parties, that's not it. It's not. So that's all I have to say about that. I don't want to have this video too long, but if you guys, agree with me, just leave in the comments, how y'all feel about it. And if you don't agree with me, that's fine, but just keep it respectful. But until next time, bye.